Hey there, Seahawks. It's Miss Adams, and in this video, we're going to talk about measures of center. All right, so a measure of center is the value that attempts to describe a set of data by identifying the central position of the data set. It's trying to represent the typical value in the data set. All right, so the first one we're going to talk about is mean. The mean is when you add up all the numbers and you divide by how many numbers that were in the set. This is also known as the average. The median is when you put all the numbers in order from least to greatest and you find the middle number. If there are two numbers in the middle, then you add those two numbers and divide by 2. The mode is the number that occurs the most. If there are two numbers that occur the same amount of time, they both happen the most amount of times, then the distribution may be bimodal. And sometimes there is no mode. If every number happens the same amount of times, there's no mode. And then mid-range. For the mid-range, we add the largest number and the smallest number and divide by 2. This is easy to find but rarely used because it only relies on 2 data points. All right, which measure of center should be used for this type of distribution? All right, so this is a bell-shaped symmetric distribution. The mean, median, and mode will be just about equal. And the measure of center that would be best for a symmetric distribution is the mean. All right. If the distribution is skewed right, typically the mean gets pulled towards the tail. The mean would be larger than the median because it's skewed towards the high end. And if your distribution is skewed, you want to use the median. All right, so same thing here. This time it's skewed left, so the mean would be less than the median. But again, because the distribution is skewed, you want to use the median. All right, and then a bimodal or U-shaped symmetric distribution, neither the mean nor the median is a good indicator of the typical values in this data set. The best measures would be to comment on the modes because you have 2 different modes here. So you would comment on the 2 peaks and where they're happening. And if you have to find a center, I would probably go with like the mid-range. All right, find the mean, median, mode, and mid-range for each data set. Okay, so to find the median, I'm going to have the numbers in order from least to greatest. So I went ahead and ordered these from least to greatest. To find the mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add them all up. So I'm going to do 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 13. And I'm going to divide by how many numbers I had there, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, so I have 75 divided by 16. When I added all the numbers up, it came out to 75. I had 16 total numbers. So my average, or my mean, was 4.6875. The median, I have all my numbers in order from least to greatest. And again, I have 16 numbers. So my median, I'm going to have 8 numbers on one side, 8 numbers on the other. So if I count 8 numbers and I put like a dotted line, I have 8 and 8. So my median is right in between those two. Well, they both are the same number. So if I have 2 numbers in the middle, I add them and divide by 2. 4 plus 4 is 8. Divided by 2 is 4. If they're the same number, then it's going to be that number. Mode is the number that occurs the most. So I have 2 4s. I have 3 3s. I have 4 2s, 3 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s, 2 6s. So 2 occurs the most. So my mode would be 2. And then mid-range, I'm going to take my largest number and add my smallest number and divide by 2. So my biggest number was 13. My smallest number was 2. 13 plus 2 makes 15. 15 divided by 2 makes 7.5. Okay. So my mean and my median are, they're not super close. The mode is definitely not close to that. So I wouldn't say that this is probably not a symmetric distribution. All right. They're not super far, but they're not super close either. Find the mean, median, mode, and mid-range of this data set. All right, so again, I'm going to put them in order from least to greatest. To find the mean, I'm going to add up all the numbers and divide by how many numbers I have. So when I add them, I get 86, and I'm going to divide by 18 because I have 18 numbers in my data set. That gives me 4.7 repeating. The median is the middle number. So if I have 18 numbers in my data set, half of 18 is 9. So I'm going to put a dotted line after the 9th number. So 5 and 5, that would be where my middle, or if you want to cross them off, like one from the high end, one from the low end, and just keep moving until you get to the center, that will work too. Again, if I have two numbers in the middle, I'm going to add them, divide by 2. If they're the same number, then I know it's going to be that number. Mode is the number or numbers that occur the most. Well, I had 4 5s, and that was the most of anything. And mid-range, I'm going to take my biggest number, which was 9, add my smallest number, which is 1, and divide by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, so my mean is 4.7 repeating, so almost 4.8. My median is 5. Those are pretty close. My mode is also 5. My mid-range is also 5. So this distribution is probably more symmetric since everything seems to be right around 5. All right, number 3, find the mean, median, mode, and mid-range. I'm going to put my numbers in order. To find the mean, I'm going to add them all up, which gives me 76. Divide by how many numbers I had, which I had 10 numbers in my set, which gives me a mean of 7.6. The median is the middle number. So after the 5th number, between the 5th and 6th number, those are my 2 middle numbers. They're both 9, so this works out to be 9. Mode, I don't have any modes because every single number in my data set occurs 2 times. And then mid-range, I'm going to take my biggest number, 12, plus my smallest number, 2, divided by 2, I get 7. All right, so again, 7.6 and 9, my mean and my median are pretty far off. This one, not so symmetric. All right, go Seahawks.